All right, guys, sorry about that. I had a bit of an interruption there. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off. So we did the minus 4x to each side. All right, so that's going to get me x minus 9 equals negative 4. Okay, then we need to justify why it is that we could go minus 4x to each side. Our justification is that we are using the subtraction property of equality. Okay, basically tells us that we are allowed to subtract the same thing from each side. All right, so there's my justification there. Now I'm down to this. I almost got this thing solved, so I need to cancel out the 9 by adding 9 to each side, and I'm down to x equals 5. Okay, so for this step right here, to be able to add 9 to each side, the reason I can do that, the why behind that, is because we are allowed to use the addition property of equality. Okay, from that list, we're allowed to use that. Okay, so now we're down to x equals 5. We have what x equals. So now, just like we've solved these before, we need to substitute 5 back in for x for nm because we're trying to find nm. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to write down is that nm is going to equal 2 times 5 because I'm putting 5 in place of x. All right, I need to justify that. I need to say, why am I allowed to put 5 in for x? Well, it's going to go back to this one right here, the substitution property of equality. Since x equals 5, I can replace x with 5, and I'm allowed to do that. So my justification is that I am using the substitution property of equality. All right, that is what is allowing me to do that step. All right, now I'm just going to simplify that. So nm is going to equal 10. All right, and we can justify this last part. How did we get 10? Well, we basically just simplified. All right, that is how I got 10. All right, so there is each one of these steps to solving the problem, which we already did in chapter 1. We've done all of this. Now what we did in this chapter, this section, is we provided the proof, we provided the reasons to justify why we could do every single step. All right, we explained the math reasons as to why that works. All right, we're just about done with the first part here. I'm going to have you guys try one on your own. It might take a little bit to get it completed. Okay, so if you don't quite get to the time in class to do the assignment today, then you'll have some time with the 2.5b. I promise. That one's going to go really quick. All right, so check out what you guys can do with this one here. All right, I need to put the little angle symbol here. All right, perfect. Okay, you're going to go through and set this thing up. You're trying to find what ABD is. Okay, you're going to put your reasons down here as to why it is that you do each step. Okay, explain why. Check out what you get, and then we'll hit pause on the video and we'll take a few minutes, see what you end up with, and then we'll check our answers to see what it is that you got. All right, go ahead and pause the video and work on this part. All right, let's check out what it is that you ended up with. Maybe you didn't make it very far. I know this is new. Maybe you made it quite a ways. Let's take a look and see what we would have to do to solve this problem. Okay, so we've already solved problems like this in chapter 1. Okay, so now we're just putting it all together. All right, so here's what we got. So to do the first thing, we have ABC equals ABD plus CBD. All right, so this small angle plus this small angle together make this big angle. Okay, our reason for that, why we can set it up like this, is the addition angle postulate from chapter 1. All right, that rule says that we can do this, and this is how we set it up. All right, kind of similar to what we did on the last one then. Next step, we would substitute in everything that these angles equal based on what we're told. Since we're substituting, we're going to use the substitution property of equality. Okay, that's my second step. All right, my third step here is I am doing the math with 3x and 6x to get 9x. And I'm also doing the math with 5 and minus 16 to get minus 11. All right, so I did both of those in the same time because I was simplifying and combining like terms. All right, so there is my justification on how I got to this step in step 3. All right, yours might look a little different, but basically you need to show that you're simplifying and combining like terms. All right, now I get to the algebra part. So I am subtracting 9x from each side. My reason is that I can use the subtraction property of equality. All right, then I'm down to just this part right here, and I'm going to divide by -1, so I get rid of that negative x. So I'm dividing by -1. The reason I can divide by -1 is the division property of equality says I can divide each side by the same number. All right, so then I'm down to x equals 11 for 6, and that gets me the symmetric property of equality. All right, basically it says if x equals 11, then 11 equals x. Okay, the extra step in there. All right, so now we got one more thing to do. We got to find out what ABD is. Okay, so we're going to take one more step here. We're going to take 7, and we're going to say angle ABD is going to equal, and I'm going to substitute what my answer for x. I'm going to take 11, and I'm going to put it in here for x. So I'm going to go 3 times 11 plus 5. So 3 times 11 plus 5. All right. And when I do that, and I actually think I carried that onto the other screen. There we go. Okay, so that's what we got for that part. So there's that, what I just did there. That's going to be my substitution property of equality because I'm substituted in 11 for x. All right, then my last step, I'm going to simplify that to get my actual number for ABD, and my reason is I'm just simplifying. Okay, so there would be all of your steps for getting this one written out to solve it, but then also justify each step. All right, I'll put the homework up here so you guys can work on some of those, try some of that, see how you do. Okay, use your notes on that, and for those different algebra steps, try your proofs, try justifying, see how it goes, and then when you guys come back, we got 2.5b, and you guys will have some more time to work on some things. All right.